Hi, in this video I'm going to be replacing the camshaft and crankshaft seals on the MX5 NB. While the cam belt was being done, I thought this was a prime time to do it because it all has to be stripped off anyway. So yeah, let's get on to it. So we'll start off with the exhaust cam. So this is obviously marked where TDC is, so that's all good. I think that's going to be a 14 by the looks of it. Going to be tight. I need my brake bar for this. Next is to remove the seal. So to do this, you need to use, or ideally, a pick of some sort, but you need to make sure that you don't score the metal on the cam, or the surface of the cam, or on the cap, because any scoring will lead to an oil leak later on. There we go. One seal. So on the Mark II VVT, the inlet cam is a slightly larger diameter seal. So when you order them, just make sure that you do fit the right ones. So here I am just checking. You obviously can't see on camera, but this VVT one is ever so slightly larger. So to fit these, you could use a large socket. You could use the old seal to help push it in, but a company called Autolink, who specialise in MX5 parts, new and used, make these seal installation tools. So you get your new seal, this is obviously the old one for demonstration purposes, put that on the end, you then get your original bolt, put that through, you slide the new seal over the end of the camshaft, and then you wind in the bolt, so then the seal is completely flush fitted as it should be. I know with a crank seal that it needs to be in the correct position, too far in or too far out, and it will leak. Again, I've got a tool for that, so I'll talk about that in a bit. So for now, I'm just going to clean up this area on the end of the camshaft, and then I'll go ahead and install. So when installing the new seal, make sure that the flat side is facing out of the engine, not the other way. Just slide this over the end first. still needs pushing in ever so slightly at the top, where it's pretty much flush all the way around the edge. So I'm just gonna use the tool and just give it a light tap with a hammer. There we go. That's the exhaust side done. Now to remove the VVT pulley and sprocket on the intake side. So to remove the intake side, there's 3 Torx screws on the front. These are a T25. Make sure you don't lose the metal gasket that's behind the plate. So behind the cover is a 17mm bolt. Might need the breaker bar for this. Give it a quick point. And then this should all come off as one. Right, next is the same procedure as the exhaust cam. Make sure you don't score the camshaft or the housing, and the new one can be fitted on. Apologies, I've misinformed everyone in the last video. The VVT inlet seal is the larger dark reddy brown coloured seal, not the other black one. That is the crank seal. So that's that, if you can see it. So that's the VVT seal now removed. Time to fit the new one. So again, same procedure as the last one. I'll slide flat face facing upwards. This one's got a tiny little spring behind it. You can probably maybe able to see it where I tried to pick it out. So slide this one over. Obviously this one isn't as the same size as the camshaft, so just gently hold that on. I'll use the old seal with the tool, which is larger. So bolt through there. No, the bolt's not going to be long enough with that seal. So. should be able to extract it and inspect it. Just a tiny bit on this top bit, but I've got a feeling this 3D printed tool may not last too long. Yeah, that's better. And there we go. VVT seals, or camshaft seals, now replaced. So now to move on to the crankshaft. So the refitting of the pulleys is exactly the same, just reversal obviously. So we'll start with the VVT, which should be down here. So make sure your marks for the TDC are on the backplate. There's a dowel on the end of the camshaft as well, which will locate into the end of the pulley. And then the same for the exhaust cam. That's the wrong size socket. Yep. So one thing I forgot to mention is make sure that you use some thread lock on the bolts. I have now extracted those, applied some, and they're now ready for torquing. So looking at the list of torque specs, 2003 to 2005, without variable valve time actuator is 50 to 60 Newton meters. And there's, I'm guessing, is going to be the exhaust cam. So I'll do that at 60. No, wrong socket. And then for the inlet intake VVT, it's 60 to 83. So let's just adjust this torque wrench. 83. And there we go. So now it's time to refit the plate on the front with the gasket, and that is ready to go. So moving on to the crankshaft pulley sprocket down at the bottom here. We need to obviously remove this to gain access to the seal. So I've got a couple of pry bars. So hopefully this will come out. Yep, like that, nice and easy. crank roll, obviously making sure that the car is in 5th gear. You don't want to turn that crank. There you go, crank bolt removed. And then this should then slide off. So the same thing applies for the crankshaft seal. So got to be very careful not to score any surfaces, and yeah, I'll show you the tool to fit it. So that's the crank seal now removed. I wish I'd filmed it because that was the easiest one to get off. Probably because I had practice with the other ones maybe. So I'm going to clean up around the seal and then do the new one. So that's now all cleaned up. Time to fit the new seal. So to do this, I bought the Jass Performance Crankshaft Seal tool. This is a 2-piece tool. So the smaller ring, you fit the seal over. If you push it in from the front, where there's a little lip just behind the spring, you then don't bend that lip up. Push that on, and then this larger piece, very similar to the camshaft tools, that pushes over the top, and then you wind the bolt through. But before I do that, I need to remove the wood glove key because it's then obviously too big for the tool. So the idea of the smaller piece is where it slides over the end of the crankshaft, the seal is in the perfect position. So as you push that over, when the new tool goes on, like this, with the bolt extracted in, it then perfectly pushes it over the top. So the tool's now on. I can now tighten up this bolt. Actually, let me see if I can move the camera closer. There you go. So that's now all done. I did redo a little bit. I did do a little bit more because it wasn't quite as in as I'd like it to be. But I'm very happy with that now. So time to refit.